The notification popped up on my phone at exactly 9:47 p.m. while I was reviewing code in my cramped studio apartment. My sister Victoria had posted another Instagram story from her promotion party at the Meridian Hotel's rooftop bar. The caption read, "Family success without the loser. Party popper finally made senior marketing director at 28. Mom, dad and my amazing husband celebrating the right way. #success, #family, #no dead weight." I could see our parents in the background, raising champagne flutes with Victoria's husband Derek. The whole scene looked like something from a lifestyle magazine: designer dresses, expensive suits, city lights twinkling behind them. Everyone looked radiant, successful, complete. And I wasn't there. This wasn't unusual. For the past 3 years since I'd dropped out of law school to start what my family called playing with computers, I'd been systematically excluded from family celebrations. Not formally disinvited, just forgotten. Plans made around me, reservations for everyone but me, group chats I mysteriously wasn't added to. The loser had become Victoria's favorite nickname for me, and it had stuck with the whole family. I scrolled through the comments on her post. Hundreds of congratulations, heart emojis, and praise for her amazing achievement. Victoria had indeed worked hard to climb the corporate ladder at Morrison & Associates, one of the city's most prestigious marketing firms. Her promotion to senior marketing director was genuinely impressive. I typed a simple comment, "Proud of you, party popper," and went back to my code. 20 minutes later, my phone buzzed with a text from my cousin Sarah. "Saw Victoria's post. That was harsh even for her. You okay?" Sarah was the only family member who still talked to me regularly. She'd been asking about my computer thing for months, genuinely curious about what I was building while everyone else dismissed it as a phase. "I'm fine," I texted back. "She earned the promotion. She deserves to celebrate. But calling you the loser publicly? In front of 2,400 people?" I looked at the post again. 2,400 likes and climbing. Victoria's social media presence had exploded over the past year as her career took off. She'd become the family's poster child for success, while I represented everything they feared: wasted potential, poor life choices, financial instability. My phone buzzed again. This time it was Victoria herself texting me directly. "Saw your comment," she wrote. "Appreciate you being mature about tonight. We really couldn't fit another person at the table anyway. You understand." I stared at the message. Even in her moment of triumph, she couldn't resist twisting the knife. "Of course," I replied. "Congratulations again." I set my phone aside and returned to my laptop. The code I was working on represented 3 years of 18-hour days, countless failed experiments, and more rejection letters than I cared to count. While Victoria was climbing the corporate ladder, I was building something entirely different: a revolutionary data analytics platform that could process customer behavior patterns in ways no existing software could match. My studio apartment was a testament to those 3 years of sacrifice. Ramen noodles, discount furniture, and a mattress on the floor. Every penny I could scrape together went into server costs, software licenses, and the occasional consultant fee when I hit technical roadblocks I couldn't solve alone. My family saw poverty and failure. I saw investment in something bigger. At 11:30 p.m. I was deep in debugging a particularly stubborn algorithm when my phone started buzzing incessantly. Instagram notifications, text messages, missed calls. I ignored them, focused on the code that was finally starting to work the way I'd envisioned. Then Sarah called. "Waya," she said breathlessly when I answered. "Check your phone. Check Instagram. Check everything." "I'm working," I said, still typing. "Can this wait?" "No, it absolutely cannot wait. Victoria's promotion party just turned into something very different." That got my attention. I minimized my coding window and opened Instagram. Victoria's story from earlier had been updated with new posts, but the tone had shifted dramatically. Instead of celebration, there was confusion, shock, and what looked like panic. The latest post was a video of Victoria staring at her phone, her face pale despite the professional makeup. Derek was leaning over her shoulder, both of them looking stunned. In the background, I could hear my parents asking what was wrong. "Sarah," I said slowly, "what am I looking at?" "Forbes dropped their 30 under 30 list an hour ago," Sarah said. "Tech category. You might want to check it out." I opened a new browser tab and navigated to Forbes.com. The headline dominated the homepage. Forbes 30 Under 30, Technology, the Young Innovators Reshaping Industries. I scrolled through the list, reading about young entrepreneurs and tech prodigies who were changing the world. Each profile included a photo, a brief biography, and most importantly, the valuation of their companies or contributions. Then I saw it. Position number 3. Maya Chin, 26, founder and CEO of Nexus Analytics. My own photo stared back at me, the professional headshot had taken 6 months ago when investors started taking meetings seriously. Below it was a description I hadn't expected to see for at least another year. Maya Chin dropped out of Harvard Law School to pursue what many called a foolish dream, creating artificial intelligence that could predict consumer behavior with unprecedented accuracy. 3 years later, her company Nexus Analytics has quietly revolutionized how Fortune 500 companies understand their customers. With preliminary valuations reaching $847 million following her Series C funding round, Chin represents a new generation of entrepreneurs who chose innovation over traditional career paths. Major clients include Amazon, Netflix, and Goldman Sachs, though Chen's famously private approach means most people have never heard her name. "I'm not building this for recognition," Chin told Forbes. "I'm building it because the technology can fundamentally change how businesses connect with people." I read the article 3 times, my heart pounding. Forbes had somehow gotten access to information I thought was still confidential. The Series C funding had just closed last week, $180 million that valued Nexus Analytics at $847 million, making me the majority shareholder of a company worth nearly $1 billion. My phone was ringing again. "Maya," she said when I answered. "Are you seeing this?" "I'm seeing it. $847 million? Apparently. And Victoria just called you the loser, in front of 2,400 people?" I was still staring at my Forbes profile, trying to process that my 3 years of 18-hour days had somehow resulted in this moment. "Sarah, I need to call you back." I hung up and immediately called my lawyer, David Restrepo, who had been handling the funding rounds and corporate structure. "Hiya," he answered on the first ring. "I was wondering when you'd call. Congratulations on the Forbes recognition. Though I have to ask, did you know they were running the profile tonight?" "I had no idea," I said. "David, how did they get the Series C numbers? That was supposed to be confidential." "Technically it was," he said, "but Forbes has sources everywhere. And honestly, Maya, you can't keep this quiet much longer. You're about to be one of the youngest female billionaires in tech history." The story was going to break eventually. Billionaire. The word hit me like cold water. "David, what exactly is my net worth right now? Based on your 62% ownership stake in the Series C valuation? Approximately $524 million. If the company hits the growth projections we showed investors, you'll cross the billion-dollar threshold within 18 months. I sat down heavily on my discount couch. $524 million. "Congratulations," David said warmly. "You've built something extraordinary. Your AI platform is already changing how 36 Fortune 500 companies operate. This recognition is well-deserved." After ending the call, I sat in my studio apartment, surrounded by the evidence of 3 years of sacrifice, holding a phone that contained notifications about an achievement I'd never dared imagine. My Instagram was exploding. The Forbes article had gone viral, and people were connecting my name to Victoria's loser post from earlier. Screenshots were being shared across platforms, creating a narrative I hadn't asked for but couldn't control. At 12:47 a.m. Victoria called me. "Maya," she said, her voice shaky. "I need to talk to you." "It's pretty late, Victoria. Please. I'm still at the hotel. Can you come down? Just for a few minutes." I looked around my studio apartment, my ramen noodle dinner dishes in the sink, my mattress on the floor, my 3-year-old laptop that had built a nearly billion-dollar company. Then I looked at the Forbes article still open on my screen. "I'll be there in 20 minutes. The Meridian Hotel's rooftop bar was nearly empty when I arrived. Victoria sat alone at a corner table, still in her celebration dress but with her makeup smeared from crying. The champagne glasses and party decorations looked surreal in the dim lighting. "Maya," she said as I approached. "I'm so sorry." I sat down across from her. "For what?" "For everything. For tonight's post. For the past 3 years. For calling you. She couldn't finish the sentence. The loser. I supplied gently. She nodded, fresh tears starting. I had no idea what you were building. None of us did. I tried to tell you, I said. Remember 2 years ago at Christmas when I tried to explain the AI platform? Dad said I was playing with toys and Mom suggested I go back to law school before it was too late. Victoria winced. We thought we were helping. I know. Maya, the Forbes article, it says your company is worth nearly $1 billion. That's what the investors think it's worth, yes. And you own most of it? 62%. Victoria stared at me. You're worth $500 million. On paper. She laughed, but it came out as a sob. On paper. Maya, I just got promoted to senior marketing director. I make $180,000 a year and I thought I was successful. I posted about family success without the loser, while you were sitting in your apartment worth $500 million. Money isn't the only measure of success, I said. Your promotion is genuinely impressive. You worked hard for it. Stop being nice to me, she said. I don't deserve it. I've been horrible to you. I looked at my sister, really looked at her. Despite the designer dress and the hotel celebration, she looked smaller than I'd seen her in years. Vulnerable. Victoria, do you know why I dropped out of law school? She shook her head. Because I realized I was only there because it was what everyone expected. High-achieving Asian daughter becomes lawyer, makes parents proud, follows the approved path. But I was miserable. So you started a tech company instead? I started solving a problem that fascinated me. The company grew out of the solution. For 3 years, while you all thought I was failing, I was actually building something that could change how businesses understand their customers. The money is just a byproduct. Victoria was quiet for a long time. Finally, she said, I owe you more than an apology. You don't owe me anything. Yes, I do. I owe you respect. I owe you support. I owe you the benefit of the doubt I should have given you 3 years ago. She paused. And I owe you a public apology for that post. I pulled out my phone and showed her the notifications. Victoria, that post has created a situation neither of us asked for. People are sharing screenshots, creating memes, turning this into a story about family dynamics and success. I didn't want this kind of attention. She looked at the screen, scrolling through hundreds of comments and shares. Oh God, Maya. What can I do? Help me control the narrative, I said. If you're willing. Victoria nodded immediately. Anything. I opened Instagram and began drafting a new post. We're going to tell the real story. The post I wrote was simple. Tonight was supposed to be about celebrating my sister Victoria's incredible promotion to Senior Marketing Director at Morrison & Associates. She's worked incredibly hard and deserves every bit of recognition. What nobody expected was Forbes dropping their 30 under 30 list at the same time. I'm honored to be included and I'm grateful that my AI platform is helping companies serve customers better. But the most important thing is this. Victoria and I are both following paths that matter to us. Success isn't a competition, especially not between sisters. Proud of you, V. Let's celebrate together next time. Red heart, hashtag sister support, hashtag different paths, same goals, hashtag proud of each other. Victoria read it twice, tears streaming down her face. Maya, you don't have to do this. Yes, I do. Because it's true. She posted a response within minutes. My sister is not only brilliant and successful, she's a better person than I deserve. Maya, I'm sorry for everything. Your path was never traditional, but it was always authentic. I should have supported you instead of judging you. Proud to be your sister. Can we start over? Red heart. By 2 a.m. the social media storm had shifted completely. Instead of mockery and schadenfreude, the comments were filled with people praising our mutual support and discussing the different ways success can look. As we finally prepared to leave the hotel, Victoria hugged me tightly. Maya, can I ask you something? Of course. What happens now? With the company, with everything. I thought about my studio apartment, my ramen noodle dinners, my 3-year-old laptop. Then I thought about the Series D funding round David had mentioned, the international expansion plans, the possibility of going public within 2 years. How I keep building, I said. The recognition is nice, but the work is what matters. I want to help businesses understand their customers better, create more personalized experiences, Make commerce more human. And personally? I smiled. I think I'll finally buy a real bed. Maybe upgrade from ramen to actual groceries. Victoria laughed, the first genuine laugh I'd heard from her in years. Can I help you apartment hunt? I know you're worth $500 million, but I also know you'll probably look at studio apartments to save money. You know me too well. As we walked to our cars, Victoria said quietly, Maya, I want you to know, I never really thought you were a loser. I was scared. Scared of what? Scared that you were brave enough to chase something that mattered to you while I was just following a script. Scared that your unconventional path might actually work while I was playing it safe. Scared that you'd prove that success doesn't have to look like what everyone expects. I stopped walking. Victoria. Yeah. You're not playing it safe. You're building a career in an industry you love, working with brands and campaigns that reach millions of people. That takes courage too. She smiled through her tears. Different kinds of courage. Exactly. 6 months later, Victoria and I had lunch every Tuesday. She'd moved to a smaller marketing firm where she had more creative control, taking a pay cut but finding work that energized her. I'd moved to a 2-bedroom apartment, still modest by tech CEO standards, but with an actual bed and a kitchen suitable for cooking real food. Nexus Analytics had grown to 847 employees across 4 countries. The Series D funding had closed at a $2.3 billion valuation, officially making me the youngest female billionaire in artificial intelligence. But more importantly, our platform was helping small businesses compete with major corporations by understanding their customers better. The Forbes recognition had changed everything in nothing. The work remained the same, solving problems that mattered, building technology that served people, growing a company based on authentic value rather than hype. And Victoria had become my closest advisor on something I'd never expected to need help with: how to handle success publicly while staying true to the values that had built that success in the first place. The thing about being called the loser, I told her during one of our Tuesday lunches, is that it taught me the difference between external validation and internal purpose. Meaning I didn't build Nexus Analytics to prove anyone wrong. I built it because the technology fascinated me and the problem needed solving. The recognition is nice, but it's not why I get up in the morning. Victoria nodded thoughtfully. I think I'm finally learning that lesson too. What do you mean? I spent so much energy trying to look successful that I forgot to focus on doing work that actually fulfilled me. The promotion was real, but it was also performance. Now I'm trying to focus more on the work and less on how the work appears to others. I raised my coffee cup. To different paths, same goals? She clinked her cup against mine. To different paths, same goals. And to sisters who figure out how to support each other, eventually. As we finished lunch and prepared to return to our respective offices, her marketing agency, my AI company, I reflected on how much had changed since that night at the Meridian Hotel. The Forbes recognition had been a catalyst, but the real transformation was deeper. 2 sisters learning that success doesn't require diminishing someone else's journey. My phone buzzed with a notification from our family group chat. Mom had shared an article about Nexus Analytics being named to Incorporated Magazine's Companies to Watch list with a proud caption, "Both our daughters are changing the world in their own ways." Victoria saw the notification and grinned. Look at that. No mention of anyone being the loser. Character development, I said. For all of us. Walking back to my office, I thought about the studio apartment where I'd received that first Forbes notification, the years of 18-hour days, the choice to pursue something unconventional despite family skepticism. The path had been difficult, but it had been authentically mine. And sometimes, if you're patient enough and determined enough, the world catches up to what you've been building all along.